So we are going to go through, give you a bit of a intro to our graduate development program, what's involved, the recruitment process, eligibility. So there seems to be quite a few questions coming through on that. So we'll make sure we cover all of that. And then Jesse will talk a little bit about the work that we do, the clients that we work with, and he's also going to talk about a project that he's worked on recently. So for those of you who didn't join earlier, quick intro. I'm the People and Culture Advisor at the Property Group, or TPG for short. And I'm based in our Wellington office, and I look after our graduate development program. And I might just pass to Jesse, give you just a quick intro of yourself, and then we'll kick into it.
Yeah, hi everyone. So my name is Jesse Taylor. I'm a property consultant. I'm based in TPG's Napier office. I've been with TPG for about 13 years, and I actually started as a grad. So I'm quite keen to connect with you all and let you know sort of where I came from.
Yeah. Great. Jesse will probably be able to answer more questions than me, given you've been here for 13 years. So we'll kick into it then. And I'm pretty sure we make these slides available afterwards as well. So I'll probably move quite quickly through them. So our graduate development program, we're quite different from Fulton Hogan, in that we're not a construction company. We are a consultancy company, and we are what I would describe as a medium-sized business. So we've got between 170 and 180 people across the country. And so we're really proud of our graduate program. We think it's a really great opportunity for property graduates or people from other disciplines that are keen to get into the property industry or into a consultancy role. And so the value that we see in our program is we offer quite a wide range of services, which Jesse will talk about shortly. So it means we've got a lot of different types of clients, a lot of different types of projects that our graduates can get exposure to. But we've still got that medium size I suppose family feel is what I would describe it as. You tend to know everybody that works at TPG. It's not too big that you don't know people. And so our managing director, for example, still sends everyone a handwritten Christmas card, which I think is quite nice. So if you want a kind of smaller organization, this would be a really good fit. And so our graduate program, again, quite a bit smaller than Fulton Hogan. I think I heard them say 85 graduates. We currently have 13 graduates across our 2-year program. We took 8 graduates last year, and then we had 5 or 6 from the previous year. So that's probably around a similar number that we'll take this year. So with the graduate program, this is what we describe as the 3 really important pillars of our grad program. Support and guidance is really important. We know that graduates are coming with no experience or relatively little experience, and that's fine. So we make sure that we wrap support around our graduates from day one. So you'll have a manager, obviously. You're also part of a graduate peer network with those cohort of grads I just mentioned. And then all of our graduates get a mentor after 6 months. So that's usually a senior person in the business. And they're there to guide you in your career, help you decide what area of the business or what direction you want to learn more about or kind of move into. Learning, development and feedback is also really important. Everyone gets a performance and development plan, which sets out really clear expectations of what you have to learn and helps you map out your career. And also really regular check-ins for grads as well. That's really important that they're getting feedback on the job. And then the other final one is delivering a superior client experience. So the really key part of this, I think, is understanding consultancy. So the client is at the center of what we do. So we have lots of different clients. So you get, as part of this program, to develop really core consultancy skills. So if you're not sure what that means, consultancy, it really at the heart of it, and Jesse, you can talk a little bit about this as well, but it's we deliver to a whole load of different clients at any one time. So you don't get just to work for TPG, you actually get to work for a lot of different businesses and a lot of get exposure to a lot of different types of work. And so what we really focus on for consultancy is good communication skills. So written and verbal communication is really important. Critical thinking and problem solving. You're usually presented with a problem that our clients want us to solve. And then collaboration and teamwork. So because we've got offices all around the country, often people are pulled in on projects who have the skills from a different area. So yeah, you might work with one team on one project, and then you might working with a different team or different people on another project. So that's a quick overview, and this is a bit of a more detailed roadmap of what our program looks like, but it is quite structured for when our grads come on board. So the first probably 6 months is a lot about just learning about our business, our clients, the type of work that we do, meeting other people, building relationships. And you'll find that probably a lot of what we do for our grads, it doesn't start to make sense till about 6 months. Or it doesn't start to make sense altogether. It starts to connect and kind of really click for our grads once they start to get more exposure. And so I already mentioned on the job learning and professional development, we've got a learning and development program as well for our graduates and for the wider business as well. So the other final thing I would say on this is that we have, we've got a lot of people who have a lot of experience in the property industry, so it's a really good place to learn, and so you get teamed up with a senior consultant who you work alongside, or different people, whatever, depending on what client or project you're working on. So we do have a lot of industry experience, and so our grads, they tell us that's what often attracts them to join the program. So that's a very high level overview because I'm conscious of the time. This is just a little bit more about TPG overall. We have a wellbeing program. We also have quite a fun and social work culture, and we do work with Kids Can as part of our corporate social responsibility program. So I'll pass to Jesse now. He'll give you an overview of the service lines or the expertise that we have, and also a bit more insight into the types of clients that we work for. And then he's going to talk about a recent project. So I'll pass to you, Jesse.
Excellent, thank you, Jess. So yeah, look, Jess has already provided, a pretty accurate summary of what TPG is and what we provide, but just to double down on that, and probably more so from an operational perspective, I guess as a high level snapshot, TPG provides property solutions from sort of that pre-project implementation phase. So, like your due diligence and your planning and whatnot, right throughout a project by way of negotiations or ongoing strategic advice through to project closeout, such as sort of your settlement and your legalization actions. So I guess to wrap that up, TPG sort of provides an end-to-end property service tailored to meet our clients' specific needs, and more importantly, and most importantly, I guess, is to add value to the projects that they're asking us to give input to. So in terms of our expertise, I guess this slide here is a bit of a snapshot of the areas we do add value to our clients. So quickly expanding and touching on a few of those offerings. So we've got property advisory there. We've got the likes of our lease reviews and advice, site identification and analysis, workspace and fit out brief developments, project management and portfolio rationalization and optimization. Sort of investigations, we've got our RMA planning there, which is sort of your due diligence, RMA due diligence and resource consent processing. Urban regeneration, it's relating to sort of the regeneration of areas which typically don't have any commercial activities. So we do the likes of the master planning and urban design assessments for our clients. Development management, we do a lot of site searching and acquisition work. Again, the due diligence and feasibility studies come into that there. GIS, this is quite a new application for us and something that really does have an application for almost everything. I don't sort of get through a project without using the GIS system, and it's largely data driven, but it's really useful for project management and tracking, and even just displaying information to our clients. I think it's really a good tool that we do have and we have developed recently. Local government advisory, so that's your strategic property advice to our councils and whatnot, and we provide a lot of acquisition and disposal work in that space. Statutory services, we've got an in-house legal team, and I think that's quite a big point of difference for us. And I mean, what we do is legally complex, and it is critical to have legal opinion on a lot of the things that we do recommend to our clients. So this is a pretty good point of difference for TPG, and certainly has helped me in the past. It's something I use every day, so I'm pretty happy to have them on board. Housing and community, again, we do our portfolio assessments and market assessments and whatnot. Infrastructure advisory, site selections, again, acquisition and disposal works for some of our bigger clients there. And energy, again, we do a lot of acquisition and disposal, due diligence on some of the big acquisitions and whatnot they do, as well as a bit of strategy advice around that. So moving on quickly to our clients, I'm quite mindful of time, so I am punching through this, but we've got Waka Kotahi there, who is our biggest client. We do a lot of work for them on their acquisition of land for roads and whatnot, and we also do a lot on their disposal portfolio, which is the sale of their surplus land. Central government, that includes sort of your ministries, so Ministry of Education, Ministry of Health and whatnot, and we do a lot of work for these outfits, and the example that I'm going to speak to shortly is actually a Ministry of Health project. Local government, we've got our councils and local authorities that we do a lot of work for, and the SOEs there, such as Kiwi Rail, we've more recently picked up a lot of work with them and do a lot of work with them. Now, private companies and trusts, it is less common, but we do some things with those clients, and I'm working on a couple here from sort of a water perspective. That's it's always interesting to have a big mix of clients there, and I guess that's the great thing of having such a diverse range of clients, is that the project work we do is so varied, and it provides opportunities to not only increase your experience and your knowledge base, but if you really want to delve into an area and become quite experienced in any given area within the company, I think TPG provides great opportunities for us to do that and really apply yourself. So if you're interested in energy or transportation or whatever it might be, you can really drill into that and become that expert, which is great. So moving down to our case studies. So today I'm going to speak to the new Dunedin Hospital project that we recently completed for the Ministry of Health. So I guess full disclosure, I actually wasn't involved in this one, but it is quite an interesting and high profile project that I did want to sort of use as an example today. So a bit of background, the existing hospital itself was in reasonably poor condition. And so our client came to us and said, we need somewhere new to construct a new hospital with all the appropriate infrastructure. And so we were engaged in 2017, and we were asked to negotiate the purchase of Dunedin's Cadbury factory, which happened to be closing, but I guess that's a reasonably iconic landmark that everyone's aware of, and we were engaged to purchase that, and that was the potential site for the new Dunedin Hospital. Following that, we were asked to do a bit of a scoping study for additional sites, for new hospital sites as well, and do a bit of a preference ranking against criteria that were given to us by the client. And so that was a big part of the job there. And following that, they asked for further advice around actually acquiring the entire block around the Cadbury factory itself. So I guess our added value here, other than being accredited suppliers and whatnot, we were able to provide a property acquisition strategy for the project up front. And what we do in this document is we sort of, do a full investigation of all the properties we're looking at, and we explore sort of property specific risks and costs and timings and whatnot, and make a recommendation to the client around what the most appropriate acquisition strategy is. And what it does is it identifies potential showstoppers up front, and it allows us to sort of, give some advice around how we work around those to secure the project and the properties for the project. So what we picked up here was that a lot of the sites in the area of interest were sort of a mixed ownership structure. So, whilst they were, I think it was 8 properties that we were acquiring, they actually had an additional 9 leasehold interests in them, which were all operating businesses, and none of them really wanted to move from where they were. So as you can imagine, it led to some pretty interesting and challenging negotiations, but we rolled out a good team to go and work through those negotiations. And I've been a part of quite a few project teams in the past, and I can say that it is actually a really enjoyable aspect of being a consultant. You go out and you form part of a team where everyone's rolling their sleeves up and working towards sort of a common goal and a deliverable, and working to a deadline. And when you actually achieve it, it's massively satisfying. So really enjoyed being part of projects like this in the past. And I know that the team here were really enjoying this, and they still talk about this one. So that sort of tells you that it was quite an enjoyable bit of work. The project was time critical. The client obviously had a deadline, and so we started the process of compulsory acquisition, but I'm quite pleased to confirm that we didn't actually have to use compulsory acquisition here. We did acquire all of the properties, both the freehold and the leasehold, and did some some reasonably complex business relocations all through negotiation. So it was a good outcome in the end, and construction is estimated to be completed in April 2028. So still a while before that'll be all up and running. But I guess just to wrap up the project itself, it was, very exciting for us anyway, a $1.5 billion project. And that's big for us to be involved with. It was the biggest Dunedin infrastructure spend of all time, as far as I'm aware. We completed all the required acquisitions on time and on budget, and I think we spent somewhere in the order of 70 million on site acquisition costs. So it's a big project. We rolled out the entire team. We had, property advisory, legal, planning, GIS. Everyone had input in the project, so everyone came together. Again, going back to that point of the team pulling together for the common goal, it's enjoyable when everyone can say they played a part, and the client were incredibly happy with the outcome. So, if we didn't land the property, they couldn't have done what they are planning to do with the site. So, again, it's a good example of life as a consultant. It's fun, it's challenging, and once you've done it, it's pretty rewarding to see all your hard work go into something. So that's the New Dunedin Hospital project, and on that I'll hand it back to you, Jess.
Thanks, Jesse. I think it's really great example, and kind of helps people understand the work that goes in before we even reach kind of starting the construction part. So often people don't understand that. If you could just keep an eye on the questions, Jesse, and we'll come back to them now in a couple of minutes. So I'll just finish up with a couple of points on our applications. So we've got 2 streams in our graduate development program. The first one is property and GIS. So that will be a property consultant or anybody working in our GIS team. That's open now. It opened on Monday for 3 weeks, so until the 2nd of May. And you can apply for that online through our website. And there's also a lot of information about what we're looking for on our website. That's open to students from a property degree. So Auckland University, Lincoln, Massey are the main ones that have property degrees, but we also take students from business, commerce. Law is, we have quite a lot of graduates with a law background, because there is quite a lot of legislation involved in what we do. And then our GIS analysts will come from usually a science degree or another type of degree that has GIS papers. And then our other stream for this year is planning and urban regeneration. So that will open in mid-May, and the disciplines that we look for are planning, obviously, usually Otago, Auckland, Massey again, and urban regeneration tends to be a little bit more focused, usually architecture and urban design. So we are quite flexible with the number of graduates we take. It really depends on the people that we get and the location that you're willing to go to. So we do have locations on our application form, which will give you a little bit of an idea of where we're taking people. But the more flexible you are, the more likely you are to get a role, is probably a piece of advice that I would give you, which I know Fulton Hogan mentioned as well. So there's some more information in here about what we look for and how to apply, the interview process, but this is all on our website, and we'll make these slides available as well. But a quick snapshot of our application process. We get people to do a short video if they're shortlisted, and then we invite you to one of our offices to attend an interview with some other applicants. And then you're usually offered a role after this, the interview process, and then we get you to catch up with our team depending on the location that you're going to be placed in. And all of our graduates tend to start in January or February, but there is a little bit of flexibility with that depending on when you finish university. So I know we've run over time, so we will finish up there, and I'll just check if there's any questions that we have received that we haven't answered.
I think a lot of the questions are relating to sort of taking on graduates, not specifically with a property background per se. And I think the answer there is absolutely. I mean, the right people are the right people. So I mean, we've got plenty of I've got plenty of colleagues here who have various backgrounds. We've got someone here with an art history background, I think, who's a fantastic consultant. So I think if you've got the skill set, there's nothing. There's nothing.
One question: do you have any reservations in hiring a marketing student? I'm not sure whether that means in our marketing team or in our property consultant team, but I think, just to echo what Jessie said, look, if you're interested, put in an application and demonstrate your interest in working in consultancy or in the property industry, and we'll definitely consider it. Collective communication between all parties. Do you directly or indirectly with iwi Hapu as part of consultation? Can you talk to that, Jessie? And Sam, can we keep going, or do we need to stop?
You've got the thumbs up.
We can keep going. Okay, because I don't think there's anyone after us. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so look, we absolutely do. And in fact, we've built quite a good relationship in various areas, well, in all areas with iwi and Hapu. And, every project that we work on do consider the effect on the iwi and Hapu. And it's a big part of our early engagement strategy to get in front of relevant people and have discussions. I mean, we're doing some project work here in the Hawke's Bay where, we're affecting some quite significant or culturally significant water bodies. So absolutely, we're engaging early, and we're making sure that everybody's aware of what we're doing. Hopefully that answers that for you.
Yeah. Thanks, Jessie. And then the last one: do you have any graduate program for quantity surveyors at the moment? No, we don't have quantity surveyors, but we take people with a background in that, I'm sure, but we don't do quantity surveying. Is that the correct answer, Jessie? When I refer to my technical consultant here.
Yeah, no, so strictly speaking, no, but I mean, a lot of the skill set would probably carry over, and we're working with quantity surveyors regularly, and as I said earlier, on the basis the right person is the right person. The background doesn't really matter too much to me.
Okay, I think that's all the questions. Does anyone have anything else, or we might wrap it up there? All right. Right. Thank you for tuning in. And yeah, go onto our website or onto our possible profile, and we've got some profile stories on our current round of grads that might be useful for you to read as well. So we'll hand back to you, Sam.
Fantastic. Thanks, Jess. I'll just close the screen. Let me just put myself back in, and that actually concludes today's virtual construction and property services